Monday, 12 November 2018. Mathematics paper 3, foundation tier. When you start this paper, you are given your center number, which you will fill in at the top, your candidate number, your your name, your other names, and then the important thing is to look at the instructions. I've highlighted a key one there. Answer all questions. Very, very important. Don't skip a question. Answer all questions. The one in the next one, you must show all your working. That one is very, very important. To get full marks, you must show all your working. And calculators are allowed in this paper. And then the next one I've highlighted there, the marks for each question are shown in brackets. Use this as a guide as to how much time to spend on each question. Because the paper is for 1.5 hours and it is 80 marks. So 1.5 hours is 90 minutes and you have 80 marks. So 80 divided by 90, that gives you a rough idea of how long to spend to get a mark. But look, keep your eye on the time. There's 80 marks for 1.5 hours. Write a number in each box to make the calculation correct. So we want the inverse of plus is minus. So we take this to that side. It becomes 100 minus 56.3. That gives you 43.7. So 43.7 is what you have in the box. 56.3 plus 43.7. So you're using inverse operation. The inverse opposite of plus is minus. For the next one, 2/7 plus something equals to 1. You can look at, one way to look at it is the denominator 7. And what do you add to 2 to make 7? So you add 5. So it becomes 7/7 equals to 1. 7 divided by 7 is equals to 1. That's another way to look at it. Or you can do 1 minus 2/7. Question number 2. Write 3% as a fraction. To change percentage to fraction, you divide by 100. So it's just 3 divided by 100. And you cannot simplify it anymore, so you leave it as 3 divided by 100. Question number 3. Square root of 1.44. If you put that in your calculator, it gives you 1.2. So that's straightforward. Question number 4. Work out 1/8 of 720. That means 720 divided by 8 times 1. So 720 divided by 8 and times 1. 720 divided by 8, it gives you 90. 90 times 1 gives you 90. So the answer is 90. Question number 5. Here is a 3D shape. Write down the name of this 3D shape. It's a cuboid. You have this front part is the face, it's long, and then this is the sides. So it is a cuboid. Write down the number of edges of this 3D shape. As you can see there, you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there are 12 edges in that cuboid. Question number 6. An ordinary fair dice is thrown once. On the probability scale, mark with a cross the probability that the dice lands on an odd number. An ordinary fair dice has got 6 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers on it. And we want to mark for part A the probability that the die lands on an odd number. There's 1, 2, 3 odd numbers. So the probability of having an odd number is 3 odd numbers divided by the total, which is 3 divided by 6, which is a half. And half is in the middle. So that's how you work out the probability, and you mark it with an X. Part B, write down the probability that the dice lands on a number greater than 4. The number has to be bigger than 4. How many numbers are bigger than 4? 2 numbers. 5 is bigger than 4. 6 is bigger than 4. So there's 2 out of 6, which 2 divided by 2 is 1. 6 divided by 2 is 3, 1/3. So the probability is 2 over 3, or you can write it as 2 over 6, or you can write it as 1 over 3. Question number 7. Sean is 1.88 meters tall. David is 6 centimeters taller than Sean. How tall is David? 6 centimeters taller than Sean. So you add 1.88 meters plus 6 centimeters. But we need to change the 1.88 meters to centimeters. So we know 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. So 1.88 meters is equals to 1.88 times 100, which will give you 188 centimeters. So you add 188 plus 6 centimeters, it gives you 194. So we have to make them in the same units, in centimeters, 6 centimeters, and 188 centimeters. And then we can add them up. So it gives you 194 centimeters. Question number 8. 2 pens cost £2.38. 5 folders cost £5.60. Ben wants to buy 20 pens and 20 folders. He only has £50. Does Ben have enough money to buy 20 pens and 20 folders? You must show how you get your answer. That's very, very important. You must show how you got your answer. So 2 pens cost £2.38. We want to get 20 pens. So 2 times 10 is 20. So that means we multiply £2.38 times 10. That gives you £23.80. And 5 times 4, it gives you 20. So we know 5 folders cost £5.60. And to get 20, you do 5 times 4. So it will be 5 times 60, £5.60 times 4. It gives you £22.40. So this is for 20 pens and for 20 folders. So you add the total, it gives you £46.20. And if Ben has £50, the answer is yes, because £50 is bigger than £46.20. So Ben has enough money to buy those 20 pens and 20 folders. Question number 9. The diagram shows 5 shapes on a centimeter grid. So shape A, B, C, D, and E. Write down the name of shape E. Shape E is colored in yellow, and that is a trapezium, because 2 sides are parallel. 2 of the shapes are congruent. Congruent means identical. Write down the letters of these 2 shapes. Which 2 shapes are congruent or identical? The ones I've colored in green, shape D and shape C. They are identical. So shape C and D are congruent. On the grid, reflect the shaded shape in the mirror line. So that's the mirror line. And the shape is at the top in gray. And when you draw the reflection, is the one I've put at the bottom in pink. It should be the same size. And I've colored it in pink. So that's a reflection of the shaded shape in the mirror. So they should have the same color. I just colored it in pink to show that this is the reflected shape, what we call the image, and this one is the object. Question number 11. There are men and women at a meeting. There are 28 women. 30% of the people at the meeting are men. Work out the total number of people at the meeting. So if 30% of the people in the meeting are men, so we want to get 100. Everybody, the men and the women is 100%. So the total number of men and women makes 100%. And if 30 of the people are men, so 100 minus 30, it gives you 70. So women are 70%. So we know the percentage for women, and there says there are 28 women. That means 28 women represent 70%. 28 women represent 70%. So we can find 10%. If we divide the right-hand side by 7, that gives us 10% of women. And we divide the left side by 7. 28 divided by 7 is 4. So that means 4 women represents 10%. How do we get to 40? If we times by 4, 10 times 4 gives you 40. And 10% times 10 gives you 100%. So 100% is the total number, and that would give you 40. Question number 12. Juan asked each of 60 people to name their favorite vegetable. Here are the results. Here are her results. Vegetable, frequency. Peas, 24. Carrots, 16. Mushrooms, 20 people. So when you add the total, 24 plus 16 plus 20, it gives you 60, because she asks each of the 60 people. Now, draw an accurate pie chart for her results. To draw a pie chart, we need to take all of these numbers and change them to angles so that we can draw it on the pie chart. So what we want to know is the first that the 60, all the people represents 360 degrees. So the 60 people represents 360 degrees. So we want to share 360 degrees to 60 people to find out what 1 is. So 360 divided by 60, it gives you 6. So this 6 degrees is for 1. So when you want to get 24, you do times 6. If you want to get it for 16, you times 6. You want to get it for 20, you times 6. So you find it for 1, and then you times it by 6 to get it for that. So 24 times 6 is 144. 16 times 6 is 96. 20 times 6 is 120. And to check, you add all of these numbers. 144 plus 196 plus 120. That will give you 360 degrees. Now you can draw it. You use your protractor. 144 is for the piece. You measure that angle and draw it. 96 is for the carrot. And what is left is 120. That will be for your mushroom. Question number 13. Annie sold 45 books at £1.20 each. 34 candles at £1.50 each. Some calendars at 90 pence each. She got a total of £150. Work out how many calendars Annie sold. So we start with the first one. I put in yellow. 45 books at £1.20. So we do 45 times £1.20. So that gives us £54. Next one, 34 candles at £1.50 each. So 34 candles times £1.50, it gives you £51. So the total, you add the total, you add the amount for the 45 books and 34 candles. 54 plus 51, 4 plus 1 is 5, 5 plus 5 is 10. It gives you £105. And some calendars are 90 pence each. So she got a total of £150. So let's see how much is left. 150 minus £105, it gives you £45. So £45 is left. And the calendars are 90 pence each. So £45 is the amount that she need to spend, Annie needs to spend for calendars. So we divide it, £45 divided by 90 or 90 pence, or 45 divided by 0.9, it gives you 50. So how many calendars Annie sold is 50. Question number 14. Here is a four-sided spinner. 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. The table shows the probabilities that when the spinner is spun, it will land on 1, on 3, and on 4. So number and then probability. The spinner is spun once. Work out the probability that the spinner will land on 2. So if we want to find out the probability that it will land on 2, we need to use the idea that all probability adds up to 1. So when you add all of them, you should get 1. So to find the probability that it will land on 2, you will do 1 minus probability that it lands on 1, minus probability that it lands on 3, and minus probability that it lands on 4. And what is left is 0.3. So that's the probability that the spinner will land on 2. Part B, which number is the spinner least likely to land on? Least. The smallest probability is 0.1. 0.1 is the smallest number, the smallest probability. And that means it's 4. It represents 4. So the probability of getting a 4 is 0.1, and 0.1 is the lowest, is the least. Jake is going to spin the spinner 60 times. Work out an estimate for the number of times the spinner will land on 1. An estimate for the number of times the spinner will land on 1. The probability of the spinner landing on 1 is 0.2. And 60 times, so expectation would be the number of times the probability. So 60 times 0.2 gives you 12. Beth has 100 cards. There is a whole number from 1 to 100 on each card. No cards have the same number. Beth puts a star on every card that has a multiple of 3 on it. He puts a circle on every card that has a multiple of 5 on it. Work out how many cards have both a star and a circle on them. So what we want to do is to find the multiples of 3, the multiples of 5, and look at the ones that have both a star and a circle. And those ones will work out to be the multiples of 15. So when you look at the multiples of 15, it's 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, 90. And those multiples of 15 will be the numbers. And how many of them are there? There are 6 of them. So these are the multiples of 15. You would have 15, 15, and then 30, 45, and so on. So you can use a chart like that to help you work out the multiples of 15. Write down the ratio of 450 grams to 15 grams. Give your answer in the simplest form. So 450 grams is 2. Is that 2 dot there? That 2 dot means is 2. 15. So you want to write it in the simplest form. Simplify it. So you can do 15 divided by 15 on the right hand side. It gives you 1. And 450 divided by 15 on the left hand side, it gives you 30. So the ratio is 30 is to 1. The simplest form. 30 is to 1. The diagram shows a pentagon. The pentagon has one line of symmetry. AE is equals to 4x, AB is equals to 2x plus 1, and BC is equals to x plus 2. All these measurements are given in centimeters. The perimeter of the pentagon is 18 centimeters. Show that 10x plus 6 is equals to 18. That's part A. And part B, find the value of x. So the first thing we want to do is to label the diagram clearly. So we know AE is 4x. So we got 4x on the diagram. We know AB is 2x plus 1. And because it has a line of symmetry, that's the line in the middle there, that means DE would be 2x plus 1. So that's line of symmetry, means DE and AB are the same. And BC is x plus 2. BC is x plus 2. Because of that line of symmetry in the middle, BC is x plus 2, so CD is x plus 2. Now we know all the 5 sides. So it's a pentagon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. All these measurements are given in centimeters. So the perimeter is 18. So that means when you add all of those 5 sides, you would get 18. So that means 4x for the first one, plus 2x plus 1, plus 2x plus 1, plus x plus 2, plus another x plus 2. All of that would give you 18, because the question says the perimeter is 18. Now we add like terms together. Add all the x together. So 4x plus 2x plus 2x plus x plus x. 4 plus 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9, plus 1 is 10. So it's 10x. Add the numbers together. 1 plus 2, 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 2. That gives you 6. So 10x plus 6 is equals to 18. Find the value of x. We want to solve this equation. 10x plus 6 equals to 18. So we want to find x on its own. When they say find the value of x, we want to remove everything until we get x on its own. First, we need to remove the 6, and then we remove the 10. It's like removing your shoes. The 6 is like your shoes, and the 10 is like your socks. Which one do you remove first? Your shoes before your socks? It's not possible to remove your socks before your shoes without damaging it. So we want to remove the 6. So 18 minus 6 is 12. So we've removed the 6. Now we want to remove the 10. It is a times 10. We don't write the times, but there's a times there. What's the inverse operation, the opposite of times 10 is divide by 10. So you divide 12 divided by 10. When you divide by 10, you move the decimal place one place inside. So it just becomes 1.2. So your answer is 1.2 for x. So this is the complete solution to that question. You wanted to show that 10x plus 6 equals to 18 on the left hand side for part A, and for part B was to find that value for x. Trevor buys a boat. The cost of the boat is £14,200 plus VAT at 20%. Trevor pays a deposit of £5,000. He pays the rest of the cost in 10 equal payments. Work out the amount of each of the 10 payments. So the cost of the boat is £14,200. VAT is 10%, is 20%. So we want to get the multiplier. So it's 100 plus 20. It gives you 120. And 120 divided by 100, it gives you 1.2. So 1.2 is the multiplier. So to find out how much it costs, including the VAT. So 14,200 times 1.2, it gives you 17,040. So that is the price of the boat, including the 20% VAT. So this represents a 20% VAT added to it. Now, Trevor pays a deposit of £5,000. So you want to remove £5,000 from that total cost. So 17,040 minus 5,000, that gives you 12,040. And that is what is left to pay. That's what he has to pay in the 10 months. So you have to divide, this is for the 10 payments. So it's divide that amount by 10, it gives you 1,204 for each payment. On the number line, show the inequality x is less than 4. So you go at where the number 4 is, put a circle, a small circle, and because it is less than, you draw the arrow going to the left because it includes all the numbers below 4. And don't shade the circle. The circle is unshaded because it does not include 4. It has to be less than 4. That's why we do not shade the circle. The next part, 3 is less than y less than or equals to 7, where y is an integer. Write down all the possible values of y. So we want all the numbers from 3 up to 7, but because it is less than, it doesn't include 3. 3 is not included. But it's less than or equals to, that means it includes 7. So we want all the numbers, we do not want 3, we want to start at 4 because it says less than. And we want 7 because it says less than or equals to. So it goes 4, 5, 6, 7. So those are the numbers. Solve 3x plus 5 is greater than or equals to x plus 17. So we have the left side and the right hand side. The way to solve this is to put all the x on the left side and all the numbers on the right side. So we have an x on the right hand side, so plus x. We take it to the left side, it becomes a minus x. We have a plus 5 on the left hand side. We take the plus 5 to the right side, it becomes a minus 5. Plus 5 goes to that side, it becomes a minus 5. So now we got x on the left and numbers on the right hand side. 3x minus x is like 3x minus 1x. We don't write the 1. It becomes 2x. On the left, 17 take away 5, it becomes 12 on the right hand side. Now 2x means 2 times x. What do you times by 2 to get 12? Okay, you can figure out that and say 6. Or you do the inverse operation. Opposite of times 2 is divide by 2. You divide by 2 on the left, divide by 2 on the right. So the 2 would cancel. You're left with x is greater than or equals to 6. And that is your answer. So that's the complete question, the answers to question 19. X is less than 4 on a number line, and then finding those values, possible values of y, and then solving the equation. Write 7357 correct to 3 significant figures. 3 significant figures means the first 3 numbers and the rest are 0. So look at the first 3 numbers, 735, you put a line, and you look at the number on the right of that line. The number is 7. Is it bigger than 5? Yes. You round it to a 1 and add it to the number before. So 1 plus 5, it gives you 6. And you replace that space with a 0. So it becomes 7360. And that's your answer to 3 significant figures. Work out square root of 17 plus 4 squared, all divided by 7.3 squared. Write down all the figures on your calculator display. So you put all those numbers in your calculator, and then you just write down the answer. Be careful with the square and the square root. Make sure the square root is at the top in your calculator. So on your calculator, make sure you use this button there first, and that would allow you, and then after that you press shift, and then you press square root, and you type 17 plus 4 squared. For 4 squared, you use that button there, and then after that 7.3 squared, and that will give you that answer in your calculator. So that's the answer to that question for part A and part B. Last year, Joe paid £245 for her car insurance. This year, she has to pay £883 for her car insurance. Work out the percentage increase in the cost of her car insurance. So her car insurance has increased from £245 to £883. So we want to find the percentage increase. So to find the increase, we will use this formula, the change divided by original times 100. So the change or the difference is 883 minus 245 divided by the original was 245 times 100. And that will give us 260.40. So 260% increase in her car insurance. Complete this table of values for y equals to x squared plus x minus 4. And when you do this without calculator, be very careful when you put in negative numbers, because that's where students tend to make a lot of mistakes. Or you can use the table function in a calculator and just copy the answer from there to complete the table. But to do it without calculator, you substitute minus 3 will go in first. So minus 3 will replace the x. So you have minus 3 squared plus minus 3 minus 4. That gives you 2. So the first answer is 2. So when x is minus 3, y is 2. The next one we can work out is put in 0. 0 squared plus 0 minus 4. That gives you minus 4. And we put in 3. This 3 there. 3 squared plus 3 minus 4 gives you 8. Now to plot the graph, we start marking the point. So it's minus 3, 2. So minus 3, 2. So you go minus 3 to the left and 2 up. You mark it there. So minus 3, 2 is that point. Minus 2, minus 2, minus 2, minus 2 is this point here. Next point, minus 1, minus 4. Minus 1 to the left and minus 4 down. So it's that point there. Next point is 0, minus 4. 0 is at that point in the middle there, and then minus 4 down, and you mark it there. That's 0, minus 4. 1, minus 2. 1 plus 1, you go to the right, and then you come down minus 2 down. So it's that point there. 2, 2. 2, 2 is this point here. 2 to the right and 2 up. So that's 2, 2. 3, 8. 3 for x and 8 for y. 3, 8 is that point there. Now you join it with a smooth curve. Do not use a ruler and do not draw straight lines to join the points. You won't get the mark in an exam. Okay, so we've drawn the graph, and it says part C, use the graph to estimate a solution of x squared plus x minus 4 equal to 0. It says estimate because it wouldn't be exact. We haven't drawn the graph perfectly. That's why it's an estimate. Solution, it means to find where it crosses the x-axis. This is the x-axis. That red line I've drawn there represents the x-axis. Where does the blue line cross it? It crosses that x-axis at 2 points. This point there and this point there. And whatever that point is the solution. So when they say use the graph to estimate solution, look at those points. And that point there is about minus 2.6. That's one of them. And this one on the right side is about 1.6. It's an estimate, so your own answer may be slightly different. Fan asked each of 40 students how many books they bought last year. The chart below shows information about the number of books bought by each of the 40 students. Number of students and number of books plotted on the chart. Work out the percentage of these students who bought 20 or more books. So between 0 and 4, we count, it goes to 11. Between 5 to 9, there's 8. 10 to 14 is 13. 15 to 19, number of students is 6. And 20 to 24 is 2. So the percentage who bought 20 or more books, 20 or more books falls in that group there. So it's 2 divided by the 40 students in total. 2 divided by the 40 students. And we want to work as a percentage, we times by 100 to change the percentage. So 2 times 100 is 200, divided by 40 is 5. That gives us 5%. Show that an estimate for the mean number of books bought is 9.5. You must show all your working. So want an estimate and mean. So because it's an estimate, we choose a number in the middle, midpoint, a number in the middle, and then we multiply that by the frequency. So it would be a number in the middle. The way you choose a number in the middle, you add 0 plus 4 divided by 2, it gives you 2. That would be the middle number. 5 plus 9 divided by 2, it gives you 7, be the middle number. 10 plus 14 divided by 2, it gives you 12, is the middle number. 15 plus 19 divided by 2, it gives you 17, will be the middle number. So we multiply the midpoint times the frequency. So 11 times 2, the 2 comes from there. It gives you 22. 8 times 7, the 7 comes from there. It gives you 56. 13 times 12 is 156. 6 times 7 is 102. And then 2 times 22 is 44. You work out the total, you add all of them, and you divide by 40 because it's 40 altogether, and you get 9.5. So this is where those numbers, that 11, it comes from there. That 8 from the next bar. 13 from this one. 6 from that. And 2 from that. And then when you multiply it, you add the total, you divide by 40, you get 9.5. Here are the first 4 terms of an arithmetic sequence. 5, 11, 17, 23. Write down an expression in terms of n for the n term of the sequence. So the formula for the n term is given by n term is equals to dn plus a minus d. That's the formula for the n term. D is the difference. N is just the term. A is the first term, and D is the difference. The difference is 11 take away 5 is 6. 17 take away 11 is 6. 23 take away 17 is 6. So the difference is 6. So you substitute 6 in there. The first term is 5. A, like the first letter in the alphabet. So the first term is 5. And the difference is 6. Put those numbers. 6 for the difference, 5 for A, and 6 for the difference. So 5 minus 6 is minus 1. So your answer is 6n minus 1 is the n term for that sequence.